So what, when confronted with that future, it's like, you know what, I think I'm going to build a business and hire a bunch of other people. And what was really cool about that mentality of building a business is I hope I could hire people better than me. Now, look, I was not bad in the field, but you know what? I wanted to find way better people than me. Because you know what's cool about that is I get to override the business that they write. If they were better than me, God bless them, because it's better than me writing the business. I'd rather have 10 people, you know, doing 1,000 a month than me doing 10,000 a month myself. Does that make sense? Kind of like that Henry Ford idea. I'd rather have 1% of 100 people than 100% of the effort myself. So I really saw this in this business, that opportunity from jump. Now, in past several years, I've been hanging around guys that people that are building software as a service type businesses. And what's really interesting about the mentality of business entrepreneurs is they have this mentality of building value in a business so they can sell it like 5 years, 7 years, right? So they can get cash out for million multiples like 5x, 7x of their, you know, EBITDA, whatever. I'm not going to try to, you know, get crazy MBA on you here. But the idea is to build a business so there's an exit strategy, right? What I found, what they said to me, and I love getting mentorship from people outside of insurance because it gives me perspective, is that they were really big on you don't have a business if the business doesn't grow without you. You have a business when it grows without you. That's when you truly duplicated yourself, because then you know that you own the business doesn't own you. And when most people do, they get in the business all enamored about selling. Oh, I got to make a sale, got to make a sale. Okay, Bo, what happens when you can't make a sale? You got to take it out of the picture. What happens to your income? And then when you look at a business, if you're really serious about building a business, can that business sustain and grow without you? If the answer is no, then you don't got a business, brother, sister. Know what I'm saying? That's the reality. So I'm going to be doing the TWC next week. I'm going to go into detail about the things to look out for. And we're going to be going to MBA school. I'm going to make it real simple for you on how to build value in a business that someone would want to buy, right? Because ultimately, you know, that's an exit strategy. See, you have an exit strategy. Everyone has one. You can choose your exit strategy, or you can be subject to the government's exit strategy, which is you sell until you die, and then Social Security kicks in, and then $1,500 a month, woo, fired up, right? So what exit strategy do you have? What's the purpose of you building your business? How are you going to exit? If you're in sales, God bless you. If you want to be in sales for the rest of your career, awesome. So my question is for you, how much money do you have going into an IUL for tax-free retirement? If you're not putting $1,000 a month in, you haven't even got started. Because remember, inflation last year was like 8%. How do we know that it was 8%? Because Medicare, right? Medicare bumped up, or Social Security bumped up the payments by 8%. Now, if you projected 8%, you better get into an investment that pays more than 8%. Otherwise, everything you're putting into an investment is just deferring that money in the future. So there's a lot of reasons why you want to build a business, because what you're doing is you're creating value for the time you're putting into it. See, the problem with just selling is you put time selling, you get money from selling, and yeah, you might get some renewals down the road. That's awesome, especially if you're doing Medicare. That's why you're doing it, really, right? For the renewals. But let me wake you up. Does anyone know that Medicare is competitive? Does anyone know that, like, people can't snake your Medicare client away? People, like, I know you guys do it too. Someone already Medicare, you're trying to figure out, right? You know what I'm talking about. She's going like this. So it's not all locked in. The way that I figured it out is I'd rather have a bunch of people in an organization that we can help build a business, we can help sell, and then I make a low percentage off what everyone does, right? I'm in control now, right? Does that make sense? Yeah. That's why I want to build a business. And you know what? I did not wait as Mike and Noel said, from jump. I turned to Noel, said, hey, you open mind about building a business. I turned to Patrick Connors, you open mind about building a business. I did not wait. Some of y'all are going, well, I'll wait till I'm good at the business. Dude, what if you're not good? Seriously. But if you had 10 good people, but you know, you're going to have to probably go through 100 people to find 10 good ones. But you know what? Those 10 good ones you build a big business with. So is it okay to go through 10,000 people to find many good ones? Here's the thing I always say about building. Number one, you got to start from day one if you want to get out of your job later. Every week you go without showing the opportunity to someone is another month doing your sales job. Now, I'm not against selling insurance, so don't misunderstand, because nobody makes money till someone sells insurance. Okay? But is it okay if I replace myself with 10 people?
Yes.
And then I teach those 10 people to find 10 people, replace themselves, and those 10 people, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a mentality that you're trying to inject into your organization. So like next week, when I talk about building a business that someone would want to buy, do you think someone would buy your business if it's just you selling insurance? Even if you're doing, you know, $50,000 a month in issue paid, does someone want to buy that business? I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? Because if they don't have you, they have nothing. But imagine if you had 25 people in with that was selling, and you got 5 jamming organizations depth of leaders that were building their own business. Don't you think now, hey, that's a good business. That business is worth something to me. I'd like to buy that business, right? Because they're creating what we call in the SaaS world, monthly recurring revenue, MRR, which turns into annual recurring revenue. The way I translate recurring revenue is how many people are producing outside of you producing that you're earning income off of. We'll talk about that next week too on the TBC. So that's why I want to build a business, and I think you build it now. Now, if you talk to any of the top producers, if you ask them the question that most people ask is, what would you have done different when you got started? If you could tell you back when you got started, what would you do different? And you know, nearly everyone will say, I wish I would have started recruiting when I got in. I wish I would have started recruiting and got in, because they see what it takes to grind, right? Look, if you can sustain 40 appointments a week for the rest of your life, man, I'm glad you're on my team. I am not going to stop you. Okay, this is someone who's not going to stop. I'm not going to get in your way if you can sustain that, right? But at some point, you know, this is kind of the fallacy of that. It's like, Alex, how do I double my income? Well, how many appointments are you running per week? Well, I'm running 15 appointments a week. Well, then do 30. Well, how do I double income from there? Do 60. Do you see that? There's a point where it becomes impossible. So let's break it down easy. The first step in recruiting is inviting. The first step in recruiting is inviting. Everyone can do it. I don't care if you have a license or not. I don't care if you're good at recruiting or not. It doesn't matter if you're good at recruiting. All you need to do is to be good at inviting. You're a talent scout, no different than a talent scout in baseball, trying to evaluate talent, right? And you're looking for people that are sharp, ambitious. I call it, they've got the proper attitude, they got proper motivation, and they are committed people. If they got 10 IMOs that they've been hopping around, you know, it's not the IMO, maybe. It's maybe the attitude, motivation, commitment. AMC, attitude, motivation, commitment. But all you got to do is invite. It's not your job to really filter them. Your job is to invite them, right? It's simple invite. Anyone can do this. Help. We need help. How many people want to help someone that says, hey, I need help, right? What's another great thing about our program? We got a lead program. Yeah, I got to sell their family and friends, right? Then I got a buddy in North Carolina. It's got this massive marketing group for financial services and insurance, and we're needing some help. Are you interested in making some money? right? We need some help. We've got leads. I got a buddy. It could be my buddy Mike in Louisville, Kentucky. We're looking to expand in your area in Phoenix, Arizona. Hey, listen, I was thinking about you. And listen, are you open to making some money? Because we're looking for some people right now. We're interviewing. Probably got 2 or 3 slots open. When you start getting more conversational, then it starts coming out more confident, right? Now, look, Alex, I'd be confident if I had your money. You know what, dude? I was doing this before I had money, before I even made money in the business. You know what I'm saying? Because I can invite people. It's like, hey, I'm having a barbecue before the Super Bowl. You want to come out? If someone said no, oh my God, they rejected me. Seriously, all you're doing is looking for the people that are looking. You're not trying to convince them, you can make millions of dollars. You can make millions. It's like, it'll change your life. That's the problem with new people coming from a function, is they were so moved that they go to their friends and, oh, I can change your life. You're going to make millions. If someone rejects you, that's okay, because they're not ready. But you know what? You planted a seed. You know how many people have come back to me because I planted that seed?
That's right.
They came back. And as long as you kind of do it with confidence, but you know that Mike and Noel are behind you, they're the ones that you're inviting them to, man, you got everything's taken care of, because they're the ones that make the money. It doesn't have to be you, right? And they say, well, have you joined them? I just got started. I'm very excited about it. I think you ought to talk to them because Mike and Noel, and then you identify Mike and Noel. It's a simple thing. Most people are afraid of, well, what if they ask me how much money you're making? Well, I just got started. And you wouldn't believe me if I told you. So just don't let that stop you. There are a bunch of Mike and Noels out there if you're just willing to ask. Make sense, gang? All right, rock on.